One of the things that I love about following book prizes is that it sometimes highlights books which weren't on my radar and which I probably wouldn't have read otherwise. So when the Women's Prize for Fiction 2023 long list was announced, it was the first that I'd heard about Black Butterflies. But this debut novel certainly packs an emotional punch, and I was completely enthralled by this harrowing story. It begins in the spring of 1992 as tensions are rising in the city of Sarajevo. Zora is a teacher and a respected artist whose elderly mother is poorly. When she asks her older husband to accompany her mother to the English countryside to stay with their daughter, she plans to eventually join them, but she's reluctant to leave this beautiful and diverse city that she loves. However, when the Bosnian War escalates and conditions turn dire, she and her friends and her neighbors find themselves trapped in this metropolis which is being continuously bombed as essential utilities cease working and resources dwindle. This personal tale shows the first year of the siege of Sarajevo from the inside, and it's what I found so effective about this book, how you can really feel the city and place around you that you are so familiar with just completely transforming in a way that you don't recognize anymore. There are some wonderfully touching moments of humanity in this story, as well as instances of vicious cruelty, as the resilience of these survivors is severely tested in brutal circumstances. Though it's narrated in the third person, this novel presents the world fully through Zora's perspective, so we get her feeling of this city and this culture with its superb architecture and the gorgeous environment around the city, and it's rich with delicious food. As a historic crossroad and a European center, it is also filled with people from many different backgrounds and cultures, but when political changes occur, it means differences in religion and nationality, which didn't matter so much before, now mean everything. Nearly every ordinary citizen is either a target or under suspicion. It's horrifying how conditions deteriorate so quickly as this city rapidly turns into a war zone, and this creates a surprising juxtaposition of normalcy and desolation. It also produces odd intimacies with strangers on the streets or neighbors, and sometimes this sudden closeness is fleeting as people gather together sheltering from an attack, and other times it forms bonds which last. We witness how communities come together and strangers can often argue about misinformation while waiting in long lines in order to just get water. I felt so drawn into Zora's experiences. It made these conditions feel increasingly palpable and real in such a frightening way. Amidst so much death and destruction, it's very moving how this novel presents art as not just a frivolous respite, but an essential testament. Zora became famed for her paintings of bridges, not just as a symbol that connects people to each other, but as magnificent objects. And as larger events occur, we see how her attitude towards art and her practice of art changes over time. While she continues to teach her remaining students, she also takes a neighbor girl under her tutelage, and they create pictures with what materials they can find, and this relationship and the desire for beauty comes to feel so precious, especially as the assault on the city reaches its most sacred landmarks and the novel's title becomes clear. A community art show, which might seem quaint in other circumstances, here feels like a last strain of humanity that people cling to, and it becomes a poignant celebration. I don't know a lot about the Bosnian War, and reading this powerful story has prompted me to want to learn more, but it also shows how even civilians caught in the crossfire or forced into military service didn't themselves understand what this battle was about, and this adds to this sense of absurdity and the senselessness of war. It's a timely reminder that even the most robust civilizations can become terrifyingly fragile when fear and hatred are allowed to create divisions. So I became thoroughly emotionally invested in Zora's struggle. The novel becomes increasingly tense as it goes on in a way which kept me gripped, but also woke me up to the reality of how such assaults on ordinary citizens have happened and continue to happen in different parts of the world. I think it's an accomplished work of fiction, and I'll be excited to see whatever Priscilla Morris produces next. And it's also very moving reading in the afterword of this book, like how it is such a personal story for the author, and it's sort of an amalgam of both her family history and other accounts that she's heard from other people that have gone through this war. So I'd love to know if you have read Black Butterflies and what you think about it, or if you're interested in reading it now. I'd love to hear all of your thoughts and discuss this book with you, because yeah, it's just a story that really struck me. So thank you for watching me talk about this book. I hope you're doing well and reading good things, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye-bye.